Hold on. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Keeping It Real Conversation Show with your host, Camila. I am your host here. Give me just a second. I don't know why Facebook is acting up right now. This is crazy. Hold on. Let's see. How do I do this? Let's see if it's on there now. I'm trying to see if it did it. There we are. Oh, this is just crazy. Okay, so as I was stating, this is the Keeping It Real Conversation Show with your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. It is Tuesday, March the 7th, 2023. I can't believe we are in the third month of the year. This is crazy. Of course, we are in the land of the living, so that's exciting. Um, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're literally one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. It has been proven over and over again since we started this show. And it has been a ride. It has been a long day. But however, we are here right now, present, talking to one of the best WNBA players in my time. And so we're going to get into her long bio that she has. She has so many accomplishments. It's ridiculous. And I'm going to read all of them.
Do not read all of them.
I'm going to read the majority of them. So Tamecka Dixon is an accomplished businesswoman, a dedicated entrepreneur, and a former professional basketball player who represented the Los Angeles Sparks, the Houston Comets, and Indiana Fever in her WNBA career spanning over 13 seasons. She won 2 championship rings with the LA Sparks in 2001 and 2002, represented as a WNBA All-Star for 3 consecutive years from 2001 to 2003. Tamecka also represented the United States national team that went on to win gold in the 2002 World Championship. She inherited the passion and love for basketball from her father, Russell Boo Bowers, who instilled in her the attributes of tenacity, determination, and courage. Taught her the skills needed to become a professional athlete. She also attained expertise in perfecting her game under the mentorship of some legendary coaches, including Marion Washington. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to say some of this stuff later. But when I tell you, you people, the people out here, she has, I'm sure she probably missed some things on here. I'm sure of it. I'm almost positive she did. We're excited to have her here. We have been talking about trying to come on this show for a minute. I was recommended by, of course, my brother Main Event, who said you need to talk to her. She has a lot to say. She's doing great things off the court as well as on the court. And we're here tonight talking to Tamecka Dixon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sunshine. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm great. Like you said, we in the land of the living, so it's no need to complain, right?
Absolutely. It wouldn't do us no good anyway. So I've read off a lot, and I didn't even read half of this paper, y'all. Some of the things that she has accomplished in her career as well as off the court. Let's go back to the beginning. Um,
Hmm.
when did you know that you had the basketball skills?
So I grew up kind of around the game of basketball. As you kind of read in the bio, my father introduced me to the game, and it was because he was actually a pretty darn good player in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my parents had me at the age of 17. So he had a full scholarship to attend the American University. So I was, around it very early on. I would say 3 years old. I have very vivid memories of being around the game at 3, 4 years old with him and in the gym with him. But he was definitely the one that kind of introduced me to the game of basketball and inspired me to, to play it.
So, being around your dad and learning the game,
Hmm.
uh, did you feel that you had to be like better than a boy to really, that concept of like what most girls is like, oh, you the tomboy, this should come natural to you. Um,
Right.
did you have that experience?
I had that experience, but I had it later on in life. Like, as you're in your adolescent years, once you get into elementary school, so to speak, and, you're playing in the schoolyard at recess with the kids. And I just always kind of gravitated towards balls, baseball, softball, kickball. Like I just enjoyed being out and playing those type of sports. So naturally, that put me on the playing field with boys. A lot of the girls didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was, there was a natural kind of, I kind of got a competitive edge from
Yeah.
that or nature
Mm-hmm.
out of that experience because in the beginning, I would always be kind of the last girl picked. It was and all the boys got picked, and then they had no choice, so they picked me, and then I would end up, you know, being good or
Right.
competing alongside with the boys, and then that didn't happen for too much longer. Once they realized I was a pretty good athlete, I started being, going from being the last girl picked or the last person picked on a team to top five. So it definitely fueled something competitive in me, and then always having to prove myself.
So did you for I guess with girls being the top notch girl most likely
Yeah.
in the neighborhood in school,
Right.
um did you get a nickname?
No, I didn't really get a nickname. Everybody just kind of
What?
thought, nah, they always, I was just Meek to everybody. Everybody called me Meek.
Hmm.
Um, but I started to get a reputation of being a pretty good athlete very, very early on. You know, and the good thing about where I grew up and in my neighborhood is the boys didn't really take they didn't really take me lightly. They played me hard and they didn't take, it was like no shorts. So that prepared me, for life later on, for basketball, competitive stuff later on. But, I always give credit to the guys in my neighborhood that I kind of grew up with, that just, they didn't see gender. They just
Right.
saw athlete for me.
Right. And that's usually how it goes, especially not just having the reputation, but you're a cool person. They want to hang out with you.
Right.
In my neighborhood, same thing. I was the only female that hung out with the guys, so naturally, it's the wrestling, it's the sports,
Right.
it's the era of what was it, Electric Boogaloo, when you had the one girl in the
Yes.
group with the,
Yes. Yes.
with the
Yes.
guys. So I
Absolutely.
understand completely how that goes. You couldn't hang out with them unless you knew how to fight, all of that
Hmm.
stuff. So yeah, just because you're a female, no. You got to be with the guys.
That's a
Um,
fact.
so are you the only child?
I am not the only child. I was the only child for 13 years.
Hmm.
So technically, when I got siblings later on, I was almost out the house by that time.
Right, right.
But I am not the only child. I do have my mom and dad are weren't together growing up,
Hmm.
but my dad ended up having um, a son and another son and another daughter, and then my stepmom had a son and a daughter. So I had that on that side, and then my mom had another son. So I do have other siblings.
So growing up, we know that your dad was teaching you the game and
Hmm.
picked up on it. So you were a point guard, right? Or
Shooting guard, point guard, shooting guard, point guard.
so can you remember how long or how many hours in the gym you spent on your shots or
Oh, hours,
dribbling?
hours, hours. When I was younger, maybe 2 hours a day when I was younger, which was a lot, when you're young. But as I started to move up the ranks, so I guess starting in high school, I started dedicating a little bit more time to it. Um, so my dad and I would get together and we would, go do our cardio and our strength and conditioning stuff, and then we would hit the gym and put in some hours maybe in the morning, right before school, and then we'd have our regular high school practices, and then after high school practice, I'm in the gym getting up a couple of hundred shots before I leave. So it just became kind of a routine. I mean, and then when you hit college and the professional ranks, it's all you do,
Mhm.
basically. I mean, in college, not so much because you still have to uphold your academics and everything. So you're still working through properly managing your time and being a student athlete. But in the professional ranks, it's all you do. So you dedicate probably 5-6 hours a day on being the best athlete that you can be.
So prior to us getting to college time in high school, did you do anything other than play basketball? You know how like we have proms and things of that
Yes,
nature, or what was it
yes.
just basketball?
No, I did all of that. I went to the prom and did all of, at that time it was house parties. So we had the house parties and we had all of that. I was also a kid, so there was, my parents, they didn't, um, it wasn't a, you got to do this, you got to do this. They weren't like strict and on me about things. It was, for them, it was just as long as I had kept my grades right,
Hmm.
that I could do other things. And so, yeah, I had a good balance of being a kid and, you know, dedicating, some of my time to being the best athlete I could be. And it was never really a struggle for me to get in the gym because I loved it that much. So it was, it was a passion of mine and something that I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to be the best athlete. So, when you want to do that, there's a requirement of time that you got to put in to do that.
So some of the athletes that I have had a conversation with, there's always some players that they looked up to say, "Hey, I want to mirror my game with this person." So in high school, who
Mhm.
was your player that you wanted to mimic your game after?
So my father was my first idol. And then in high school, I was a huge Charles Barkley fan. And I don't really know why. I love this game, but outside of that, I don't really know why I gravitated towards him because we played completely different positions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I really love Barkley's game. I thought, his passion, his tenacity, the way he ripped down rebounds and would go coast to coast and dunk on people was you know, I love that aggressiveness about him. So he was definitely one of my players that I really, really, took a liking to in high school.
I kind of figured that when I was reading, I said, "Yeah, that sounds like Barkley." For sure. Um, so in high school it says Tamecka road to athletic excellence began during her high school years. She was named All American by several publications in her senior season with the Linden Tigers. Went on to
Mhm.
pursue a scholarship at Kansas.
Mhm.
You were scouted by over 300 schools.
Yes. Crazy.
So what did that look like? What did that feel like? Okay, every day you might get 10, 15 letters in the mail like they all want me.
Yeah, so going into my, I would say my junior year in high school, I was regionally known. So up and down the East Coast, I was getting college letters from pretty much everybody on the East Coast. And then um, I started participating in the AAU circuit, which
That was
was
my next
just coming
question.
on. It was just starting to become big,
Yeah.
um, and something that a lot of the top high school basketball players were doing. And after my sophomore season, going into my junior season, was my first introduction into the AAU circuit on a national level.
Hmm.
Um, and I went out to, I remember, I'll never forget, we went out to Clovis, New Mexico for the Nationals. And we had a pretty good team out of Jersey, all Jersey girls, competing against other states. And we did very, very well. But I remember 2 or 3 days into that, we were there for like a week, I think. 2 or 3 days into that circuit or that trip, I called home. Back then you had to call on the payphone.
Hmm.
There was no cell phones yet.
Right, right, right.
So I called my mom and dad on a payphone, and the first thing out of their mouth was like, "What? Like, what are you doing out there?" Because like letters were just coming from all over, all different universities. And I think that was kind of like my introduction into like the national
National.
scene.
Hmm.
And from there, it just kind of took off and went crazy. And yeah, I started getting courted or recruited by like over 300 schools, and it became like it was crazy after that.
Wow. So with having options, and I'm sure that people were probably throwing the whole kitchen sink at you to get you to come to their school. So you
Mhm.
chose Kansas. What was it that drew you to Kansas from everybody else?
Kansas, well, for me, it was all about, first of all, the family environment. Hey, 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 excuse me 1 second. I'm gonna mute you for 1 second.
Okay.
Um,
Yes.
all right, sorry about that.
You
As
okay?
you can see, I'm still kind of at work. But so yeah, the University of Kansas. I'm a real my family is a real I'm real family orientated. So for me, it had to be a comfort level with the people that came into my, so I had 300 schools, 300 offers, and I had 30 home visits. So I had 30 universities actually come in. And it was just for us to kind of get a gauge of who those coaches were, what their environment was, what their atmosphere was, how their culture was. Um, but with the University of Kansas, it was like family. That staff came in. They ate dinner with us. They were washing dishes at the end. It was like we've known each other forever. So it was an instant connection. I think my family and my grandmother, everybody who was in there, kind of felt that connection. and loved them. And then, the next step from that was going and visiting the college campus. And then once I did that and connected with the team, it was like I knew right away once I got on the campus and met the team and just bonded and everything with them that that's where I should be.
So taking on usually with shooting guards and point guards, they're most likely 9 times out of 10 the leader of the team,
Mm-hmm.
the one that um, I said the jail of the team, both with the people on the floor as well as the coaches. Um, with that being, was that easy for you? Being that in that kind of role.
Um, Initially, no, because I wasn't a point guard in high school. I played with a very good point guard, so I never had to really facilitate and do all of the things that point guards have to do, or be an extension of the coach on the court. I was spoiled in that I played with a very good guard in high school, by the name of Simone Gilliam. But when I went to college, my college coach actually said, "Well, she saw in me that I could be or become a very good point guard at the collegiate level." So it was a struggle for me my freshman year to be moved to point guard and be learning all of the things that you need to learn to become a point guard. So I learned that all late. That wasn't my original position coming in. So it was a bit of a learning transition and a learning point for me at that. And I struggled through my freshman year, but I eventually turned it around. I think the summer after my freshman season, and just getting in there and working with our assistant coaches at the time, and watching a ton of film and just seeing how I could become better. And then when I came back my sophomore season is when it pretty much clicked for me. And then I took off after that.
So it says you led Kansas to a first place finish in the Big Eight,
Mm-hmm.
All American honors, and Conference's Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the following year, you Kansas was crowned Big 12 champion, and you won the Conference Player of the Year award again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, which is good, is you are one of 3 women who has their jerseys hanging from the famous Ellen Field House.
Mm-hmm.
Um, After winning at every level and
Yeah.
really putting in the time and effort into your career, um, what was, I would say, I'm sure you have a room full of trophies and
Mhm.
medals and things of that nature. What is your, I guess, most rewarding award?
Hmm. I don't necessarily think it's an award that's the most rewarding for me. Um, I just think it's the connections basically that I've built throughout, my career, and the friends that I've made, and the people that I have come into contact with and that have made an impression on my life. I think that's the most rewarding piece about this whole journey. Um, I never played for accolades. They came, but I never played for them.
Hmm.
I just devoted myself and my time to becoming the best player that I could be. And once I put my head down and did that, everything pretty much followed. But for me, the award or the reward was the journey. Just the like I said, the relationships and the people that I've met along the way, and the network that I've been able to build and create through that. That's the reward for me.
And that we had, well, you said you had 13 seasons in the WNBA. And then prior to that, of course, you had your time in the college circuit, the
Mhm.
AAU, high school from,
Right.
Jersey. So again, that's important, to have the connections. I would call it, the village that you have been a part of, where,
Hmm.
years down the line, we can remember, we can, from the start to the finish, um, that's important. It really
Right.
is. The support system is very important. Um,
Absolutely.
so let's go into, now we said that about college. Now let's get into the WNBA.
Yes.
So walk us through, I guess, the day when you decide, or they decide to, choose you, for LA was your first team, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Walk us through that night of when you're sitting at the table, like, who's going to choose me first? What's going on?
Yeah, so it was a so I actually participated in the inaugural season of the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a a brand new league, but it was so much hype build up. Um, and we were actually the first college group coming out and going right
Okay.
into the league.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit different draft for us
Okay.
because we were being drafted amongst players that had been playing overseas for like 10, 11 years and wanted to come back and have an opportunity to play in the United States. So it was different. I was fortunate and blessed to be able to be a part of the draft because the league stated that I was one of the top college players coming out, and they wanted me to be a part of the draft. So I was there. Um, I was picked 14th overall. So there was 13 other players picked before me, but there was only two other college players picked before me. So I was the third college player picked in that draft. And it was an amazing experience. It happened in Jersey. It was in Secaucus where the NBA studios were. So I had an opportunity to have my family and friends participate and be a part of it with me. And I was just uh, hoping that I didn't get picked by New York. I was like anywhere but New Jersey. Like I didn't want to be close to home because for me it was like a ticket nightmare. I'm looking at it like I'm gonna my fam like I have a huge family and like they travel well. So for me it was like, oh my goodness, if New York picks me, I don't know how I'm gonna get all these people tickets. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, please send me far away. So they gotta, it gotta be a planned trip for them to come out, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't get hit with tickets. So for me, it was an amazing experience to have them there, but a little bit nerve wracking. And then when I got the call that that I was going to LA, it was amazing. It was where I wanted to be at that time.
Wow. So you're on the team. Did you start off with Lisa Leslie or?
I did start off with Lise. Lise was one of the foundational players in LA. The way they built it was they had three foundational players. Lise was one of them, and then they had from the draft. We were able to pick the rest of the players to participate alongside of her. It was her, Penny Toller, excuse me, Deidre Charles. Actually, it was four. So Deidre Charles, Haishaw Zhang, Penny Toller, Lisa Leslie. Those were the four, and then they built it kind of around them. Um, so I had a very good foundation with playing alongside Lise and Deidre and Penny, and I learned so much being a rookie and having them be my vets. Um, it was I couldn't have asked for a better situation. They were patient with me. They allowed me to make rookie mistakes and not hold it against me. And they taught me a lot, about how to really handle myself as a professional, on and off the court. So I owe a lot to my vets.
So how do you feel that, and I'm glad you brought that up about the mentorship. We know, we see it now. We're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
say no names, but
Yeah,
when you come into a whole different lifestyle, if you're
yeah,
not ready, you will destroy yourself.
yeah, yeah.
And
I
it's a hard thing and a hard pill to swallow when you're looking at it as a person like, hey, this is a great opportunity and you're about to blow it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's unfortunate. It's
what
unfortunate.
is it, what is the mentorship? You know, is it I know it's important, but that mentorship, what did that really do for you? Like, what should it do for other players that's in the league as well?
Well, I think first of all, I think it's incredibly important that you surround yourself with mentors and people that you can elevate with and alongside of and help, and they can help you grow and prosper. Um but I think if you don't have just a good mentor in your life, it has to come from somebody. It has to, like, you got to be in an organization um that supports you in every way. And if you're not getting it from friends and family, or you're not getting a support system from other your teammates that have kind of been through the struggle and been through this lifestyle and kind of seen how that develops, you have to really be in an organization that's supportive, that will provide those things for you. But it's extremely important. You see it. You can see it every day. Dealing with. I don't want to make mention or make light of it, but I'm looking and listening to the headlines, the John Morant situation right now. It's like, these are things that should not happen. It shouldn't happen. Like, who's in your corner talking to you and telling you that that's not the way to go. So you got to have mentors. You got to have positive people in your life that will say to you, you are in a position of power. You're in a position of prestige, and we will not allow you to ruin that. Like, we're gonna put that gate around you, that fence around you, and make sure that you do the right thing. That's important.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I even seen today um that Stephen Smith was saying he wanted to reach out to AI to like get your boy, like
Yeah,
history trying to repeat itself. Um
yeah,
you
yeah.
have you've been down this road, not to this extreme, but somebody has to reel him in before he be sitting on the couch like, man, I had it all and
Right.
now it's gone. And it's
Yeah.
nobody's fault but yours.
Right. And the thing is, it's a million guys that want to be in that position, or a million women that want to be in that position, and they're not going to take a headache, especially when they're paying you millions of dollars to do your job. There's somebody else that can do that job for less headache. They're going to take that, you know. So people got to be the athletes today got to be cognizant of everything they do. And it's a lot of distractions today with social media and all of these things, and you just got to be cognizant of what you post, how you present yourself. All of those things kind of matter, especially when you're in a place of people put you on a pedestal. um, the people that put you on a pedestal are the same people that are waiting to tear you down when things don't go well. So you always have to, you have to have a balance.
Absolutely. Um, so in LA, we know that you
Hmm.
was LA treating you like you were a celebrity, or like, oh, that's just Tamecka.
Well, so LA was really cool. I think that the beautiful part of that experience is that the Lakers at the time, the Lakers and the Sparks were owned by the same organization, the Bus family. And so we got, we were treated very, very well. We got the same red carpet treatment that the Lakers did. And then in addition to that, the Lakers players kind of all took us under their wings as kind of like little sisters, and
Mhm.
so we had that bond, with the players on the Lakers side as well. And it was just a cool experience. It was great because we were all actually winning, we were winning championships at the same time. And the city was on fire at that time. The Lakers came would win, and then we come in the summertime and win. So it was an amazing thing to be a part of. It really was. And I think, the Sparks, the Lakers really did a good job of making sure that we felt like, we were also held in high regard in LA.
So, what do you feel like with the WNBA? I would have thought that all teams, with the male and females, would have been, treated like you said how the Lakers treated you guys,
Mm-hmm.
and over the time, a lot of the teams wasn't treated like that, and it
Mm-hmm.
was some type of issue. What do you feel could have been a different way of doing things with the guys versus the ladies, or we're all on one team?
Mm-hmm. Um, I think we, technically we really are on one team, but I think that all it all boils down to ownership for me. If you have an ownership who's invested in, women's basketball or seeing women succeed, and they're then they'll throw the marketing dollars behind it. They will make sure that the girl, that the women kind of feel, that same celebrity status that their male counterparts feel. So it all kind of plays a part in when you look at the ownership structure. um, in the beginning, I think David Stern was really, really, like, he was pushing it, pushing it to the franchises that we want to create this WNBA, and we want all owners to buy in. But really, all the owners, it was, some of them did, some of them didn't, or even if they did, some maybe hesitantly did. Um, Now I feel like it's in a position where if somebody is buying in, if an investor is really buying in to what the WNBA is, then they're really invested in it. So you don't have that issue that you probably had in the beginning. Each investor now, or each owner now that's invested in it, is invested in it for the right reasons.
Right.
And I think that's the reason why, you're going to see the women's game, kind of, the WNBA, actually take off, from here. And it's you're seeing signs of it now. They just signed a new collective bargaining agreement, just signed a new TV package deal that's worth, almost $1 billion. So things are really looking up on that side. And I think it's just, having investors or owners that are invested in it, that really, really have a vested interest in seeing it succeed.
Sissy, okay.
Yep.
Um, it also stated that you spent some time overseas.
Hmm.
I have a friend who was also in the WNBA, and
Okay.
her thing was she did go overseas, and she was like that phone bill was ridiculous. She missed her family, but at the same time over there, the treatment was so like royalty over there. She said
Yeah.
that was the only thing that she really missed coming back to the United States. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, so I spent 6 years in Italy. I spent a year in Russia. I spent a year in Turkey. And every single time that I went over there, it was the best. It was the most amazing experience. Um, Really, really, I think over there, they really, first of all, they really have a love for women's basketball. Yeah, it's soccer, and then basketball is their second sport, but they don't really see gender there. It's if they only see the ball going through the hoop. So they support clubs per se. It's club teams, and they support their clubs wholeheartedly. So if
Mm-hmm.
they, for me, when I was in Turkey, I played for a squad, for a club team called Galatasaray. Well, Galatasaray was one of the top soccer teams over there, but also one of the top basketball clubs over there. So didn't matter if it was men or women playing. If you wore that uniform, they was coming out to support you. Kind of like the college, experience,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
in the United States. It's a club team. No matter what you wearing, if I'm wearing Kansas, I'm wearing Kansas. They all coming to support Kansas. So that experience in itself was amazing. Just to be over, first of all, the opportunity to learn another culture and see how other people live, and you know understand that we should definitely, some countries you go to, you understand, and you get an excuse me, I got somebody behind me, but you understand that how blessed you are, being in the United States, and having the opportunity to live here, and some of the things that you get, and are able to take advantage of here. You don't get that in other countries. So for me, it was an opportunity to say, to be blessed, to go over there and live like other people live. And sometimes we take a lot of things for granted here that they don't have there, or they didn't have there when I was playing there. Maybe they do now. um, but yeah, the overseas experience, I always recommend, everybody, that's playing, even if you're playing in the WNBA, just to go over there for a season, to see how good you actually, do have it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But as far as the treatment though, you can't. It was second to none. They really treat you well over there.
And now that you're speaking about that, how did you feel representing the United States?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, to be able to represent your country. And now you're putting on that red, white, and blue, and you're competing. People always ask me, like, what's the difference between winning a WNBA championship and winning a gold medal? Well, the difference is, you know when you win a WNBA championship, you're the best in the United States. But when you win that gold medal, you're the
That's
best
the
in the world.
world. World.
So it's really nothing else nobody could say to you after you did that.
Mhm.
Um, but both experiences were equally great. But when you represent your country, it's a different type of feeling.
Wow. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, that's what's up. Um, let's see. You retired in 2009,
Hmm.
and at the time, there were only four, or you're one of four that was left from the time the season actually began. The
Right.
WNBA began.
Yeah.
Um, when did you know that it was time to retire? What was going on um, in your life, or around the league, that was like, you know what, deuces?
Yeah.
What was it?
I think physically I probably could have did another year, maybe two. But mentally, I was kind of done. I knew when I couldn't get up with the same amount of passion to work out and to continue to work on my craft at the same level that I have done for the previous 13 years, that it was time to quit. Because I never wanted to get into a situation where I was half-hearted doing something. Um, so that was when I found, I knew, like, okay, I'm coming to the end, and now I need to start thinking about what the plan B is, because for forever, plan A had worked for me. Um, so yeah, when I started to lose the passion to play, or to get up and work out and to be the best player that I could be, that's when I knew it kind of, was time to look at plan B.
So plan B was to have your own business.
Plan B was always to I was always an entrepreneurial spirit. I always thought that I wanted to do that. But when you dedicate, and all your time to basketball, I didn't I wasn't confident in stepping out and doing that, like, right away. I didn't know if I had what it took. So I went another route. I kind of, while I was playing my last season over, my last year overseas, well, actually before that, my last WNBA season, I was after I finished, I was interning. I interned throughout the years with like the Nets. I did some brand marketing. I just was trying different things to see like kind of
Mm-hmm.
what would spark me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then my last year overseas, I started to take a liking to finance, and I said, okay. So I started thinking about what I wanted to do next, and I was like, you know what? I love finance. I love numbers. Maybe I'll be a financial advisor. So I started kind of looking at opportunities to become a financial advisor, and I actually um, uh, applied while I was overseas. And Edward Jones hired me right out the gate. So when I came home from overseas, I got all of my certifications and got licensed, Series 66, and all of that stuff. Took the financial advising test, passed it, and then hit the ground running, like, right after, like maybe a year after retirement. Um, and so I did that for a year. And I built a pretty good book of business, and, started really networking and things like that. And things were going well, but the industry was slow to me. Like like it wasn't touching my competitive juices. I don't know how really to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was like, this is not something I really want to do after like being in it for a year and a half.
Okay.
So then I said, well, maybe I'll do like straight sales, because sales, it's kind of competitive. It might do something for me. So I went into insurance sales, and I did well. I had like 12 to 15 agents under me. Um, but again, it was one of those things where it just, I don't know if this was something that I could have made a career out of.
Okay.
Um, so then left that. But all the while I was doing all of that, I had a friend whose family was in franchising, and they had a couple of Avis and Budget locations, 10 of them to be exact. And they were looking to retire and get out of the business. And so they would always kind of talk to me about franchising when I was playing, but I never took it serious because
Mm-hmm.
I was playing. So I thought I was going to play forever.
Right.
So that we actually connected and talked about it again. And at that time, I was towards the end of my career, and I said, well, I better take a good look at this. And I did. Took over one of the locations that they had that they sold, and it was a struggling franchise, and I turned it around in 2 years, and became profitable in 2.5, and then just started rolling from there. And yeah, I owned it for 10 years and just sold it 2 years ago. So yep. So yeah, I mean, I always thought I could be an entrepreneur or business owner. I just didn't know what my path to that would be.
So, I think my friend who used to be in the WNBA, I think she took an office job at first, and then she referees now, and
Okay.
her path is trying to go to the NBA as a referee, and
Okay.
so that's what she does, um,
Nice.
and uh,
What better person to do it than somebody who's
yeah,
actually seated at the highest?
who's and she can still go,
I'm
like,
sure.
um she said, it's a lot of things that you still have to be fit, because you got to run up and down, you got to know the game of basketball as far as refereeing. So she's still connected to the game. So um the other thing, over time, did you ever have any like serious injuries?
So yeah, in I mean, not in high school, I just used to turn my ankles constantly. I used to sprain my ankles. In college, I had a bad ankle injury where I actually tore some cartilage and had a stress fracture. So I actually have two pins in my ankle right now from that injury, but I bounced back pretty well from that. I was blessed to not really have any major like knee injuries or any like Achilles or anything like that. You know, I had the basic things that, every athlete goes through: the tendonitis, the bursitis, when you have when you're constantly jumping and running and
Yeah.
sprinting, and all of those things are kind of like that just comes with it. But I was blessed to not really have any major injuries that like sidelined me for years or something like that. I was blessed in that way.
So being in the game, who was the player? I wouldn't say scared or anything like that. But who was that one player you like got on your nerve? Who was he?
um, I don't know if it was a specific player, but I could tell you the team that got on my nerve that I actually ended up playing for later was the Houston Comets in the beginning, because they just won championship after championship after championship after championship. So when you see them like keep winning, and they got to come, they ain't have to come through us because they was
Mhm.
beating us in the first 4 years, but they would beat us on their way to championships basically.
Right.
um
Was
that
that
was
Cynthia?
that was Cynthia
Okay.
Cooper. Yep, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson,
Oh
Jeanette
Jesus.
King.
Yes, I
They
remember.
were they was tough. They were tough. They were tough that first 4 years. And
Woo.
then we were the one we dethroned them and got the next two.
Right. Okay.
So but yeah, those were some amazing battles, some epic battles.
Hmm.
And I have a lot of respect for, the players that I played against and with, that those battles were epic, but very competitive. But they definitely were the team of players that I just couldn't at that time could not stand.
Those were the top names. Like when I was really into looking at it, and those who went to represent the United States, Teresa Edwards, all of these, like, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. So those was the names. I mean, you would see like, oh, it would go down to um the buzzer beater, or somebody got fouled at the last minute. Like, oh my God, this is just nerve wracking. So
yeah.
again, it is from seeing these people on the day-to-day basis. Or let's go this. Um what about a person that you might have been surprised to meet? Like, say if it was me, like Rebecca Lobo or somebody like that, like, wow, this is really you. Like, did
Yeah.
you ever have those aha moments? Like, wow, I just saw.
Amongst people in the league,
Yeah,
or
or just in general, since celebrity that you are.
um so yeah, I mean, there was definitely, I think when I got to the league, there were women that I had watched play, that I was now sharing the space with, like Lisa, like Andrea Stinson, like Dawn Staley, like these athletes that I've watched in college and never thought that I would have an opportunity to play alongside them or with them or against them for that matter. Cheryl, um, yeah, I mean, it was definitely I was starstruck to start out with, um, but just an amazing amount of respect for for the women that have paved the way for me, and now just honored to be able to share that space with them, share the court with them, and um, call some of them teammates, be able to play alongside of them. So yeah, it was cool, it was amazing.
Wow. Wally is on here.
Hey, bro.
Same way you felt about them, they felt the same about you. And he said you used to practice with us or him
Yep, yep,
in high school, Facts of Life.
that's
Um,
it.
I have not met him in person yet.
Okay.
He has. truly been man, and I'm trying not to cry. He has really been instrumental in the things that I do here, with believing in me,
Mm-hmm.
and sending someone like you to talk to me. And some of the people he have, I'll be like, my God, really? He's like, yeah, you need to talk to this person. You need to talk to this person. I feel like, you know, like I'm an analyst at ESPN or something.
There
Um,
you go. Claim it.
and right.
Yeah.
He said, I want to see us all win. Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you be making me want to cry. Like, I can't do that. Just messing up my makeup. We can't do
That's my bro.
that.
That's his heart, though.
Yeah, and I hear that from everybody. Like, if he says he's gonna do something, he's gonna do it. He
Hmm.
will look out for you. And I'm like, you like this? Like, wow, that's
Yeah.
just crazy to me. Um,
Yep.
you had a chance to play with um some of the guys that
Hmm.
were in the time when you played in the WNBA and they were in the NBA. Who would that be?
Um, I was always a huge AI fan. Allen Iverson was my guy. We actually participated in the Nike All American All Star game together when we were seniors in high school. We both were seniors at the same time. I
Mhm.
got an opportunity to chop it up with him and, become pretty good friends with him. But my Laker and Spark days, I made connections with pretty much all the guys. Kobe was a young buck then, and coming into the league, and Shaq's LA league years, and Derek Fisher.
I was just about to say, yeah, that
I
was,
mean, just all of them. Michael Cooper was my coach at the
yeah.
time, so you had a lot of the premier players of the '80s coming back and supporting, Magic and Byron Scott and those guys, and so I mean it was just a big
I
like a
thought
big
that was,
family.
I thought that was gonna be the thing. Like, all the old school NBA players would, come in as coaches or come in as um owners or something. Because of course, us in Detroit, we had Bill and Beer.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so it was nothing to see, Joe Dumars or any of
right,
them at the games. Matter of fact, I was at the game, I believe both times that the Shock won.
yeah. They
And
just they just actually celebrated them too, did or
yes,
just saw that. Yeah, that's dope.
so they were hoping that they will come to the Little Caesar Arena, which is our new arena here in the city. They haven't been here. So
Hmm.
I'm not sure if they did or not, but I know Swin Cash was talking about it in
Okay,
the news. Um,
okay.
so again, it's been awesome. I was kind of like, should I be nervous or should I not be nervous? What am I gonna say? What am I gonna talk about? Because to me, this is major.
It's
Like,
just a conversation, sis. That's all.
absolutely.
We just
That's
vibing.
what I said.
Only difference is the camera is going on. But if I was, if we was chilling somewhere out in the restaurant, this is what it would be, right?
Absolutely, because I don't do interviews, so this is definitely, the conversation, and just for kudos and to know that your name is in history. Um,
Appreciate it.
from the beginning of it on the court to the lights to the how you moved, how all of that. It was like, yeah, y'all better lock Tamecka Dixon down, or y'all definitely not gonna win. It's not gonna happen. Um, that was
Love.
the 1-2 punch with you and Leslie. Um, and in those days when I was playing basketball, I just wasn't tall enough and I didn't have handles like you, so that wasn't going to happen.
Oh,
But I have smarts,
there you go. There,
so
there you
um,
go.
Let me see. So, what is something people would be surprised to know about you?
I'm really shy, actually. Like I
What?
don't.
I would
Yeah,
have never thought that.
I'm really laid back and really shy. Like I don't like. I'm not. I'm definitely an introvert. You know, I don't like crowds. I don't like a lot of. If I had my way, it'd be my remote, the TV, a couple movies, and one or two people. That's it. Um, the profession that I actually chose kind of forced me, to come out a little bit more. But in my perfect space, in my perfect world, I'm very introverted, very shy.
Wow. I would have never thought that at
Hmm.
all.
Yep.
Um, with you going overseas, what is one of your favorite dishes like to eat?
Um, well, anything Italian, anything Italian, and I was able to spend Um, I spent 3 years in the north of Italy and 3 years in the south of Italy. So I got an opportunity to taste a lot of the northern cuisine, Italian cuisine, and the southern Italian cuisine. Um, I gotta say, I love the southern cuisine a little more. But anything Italian from Italy is the truth.
So that's my dream place.
Oh yes,
To go to Italy.
you
Um,
gotta go at least once.
yeah, for sure. That is on my to-do list for sure. In the
Hmm.
next maybe 1 or 2 years, hopefully one,
Okay,
that I go to Italy. I have a couple of people who still live over in Italy. They just like show up, we got you. So
that's what's. Yeah,
I definitely
gotta
want
do it.
to go taste their food, just see the place. They made it look so beautiful.
And
Um,
it is. It is.
I definitely gotta go. Um, there was one more thing before I let you go. Let me look over this 50
No
million
problem.
things you did for this world, and I know for sure this is not all of it. Um, let's go here. And advice for any athlete, not just male or female. What advice would you give them um, to be successful in whatever they're trying to pursue?
um, have a goal, set a goal, write it down, study it, and then put your head down and work towards it. I think it's a lot of distractions for young athletes today, just too many. Um, I didn't have the distraction of social media and all that comes with that. But there's a way that you can, if you're a young athlete now, that you don't have to participate or be a part of that. Um, I think you got to separate the two if you really really want to be successful. Um, but it's just about dedicating and committing yourself to it. A lot of people say they want to be great, but they don't want to put the work in to be great, or they don't know what work requires for them to be great. So I would say write that goal down, and then like a step by step guide of how you're going to get there. And then if you have no idea of how you want to get there, seek out a mentor, seek out somebody who's done that or accomplished that, and then ask them how they got there, and take that as the gospel. Take that as a guide to get you where you need to go. But nothing in life that's worth it is easy. And I think a lot of times in today's world, people just want things easy. But you got to put it's work that's required to get where you want to go. You got to put some work in. um, you know you're not going to get there if you don't, and B, you're not going to once you get there, if it wasn't hard, or you didn't work for it, you're not going to really feel the fruits of that labor, really be able to enjoy the fruits of that labor. So, those are the things that I would tell somebody who's young and wants to do, or wants to succeed at whatever it is that they want to do.
So, with your next move, or have you considered like on the sideline of coaching or mentoring kids?
So I actually, when I sold my business, um, I actually had an opportunity. I took on a passion project, basically.
Okay.
Um, and what that is I'm now the director of basketball over at a sports academy in New Jersey. But that's my opportunity to give back, to be around kids, to really give back to the game that gave me so much, and help, kids who come through these doors, to help them to have an opportunity to try to reach for some of the goals that they want to achieve. So that's what it is for me. I've had my time. I've done everything that I could do on a basketball court. Now I think it's time to give back, to a game that has done so much for me, and to help some of the young kids, kind of guide them in the right direction.
I think I always ask this too, do you feel like The Rock saved you? Um, and the answer is always yes. Even
Yeah.
in the bad neighborhoods, the people on the street was like, "Nah, go home. You don't need to
Right.
be over here.
Absolutely.
You need to go to a court or do something productive with yourself." Do you feel like The Rock saved you?
Yeah, absolutely. I may not have like charted a path of just being bad or anything like that, but I think the intangibles that I've learned, the characteristics that I've been able to build through basketball has definitely helped me. Definitely saved me. The skill set, like I said, the intangibles that I've learned through the game. You could take those intangibles and those characteristics and those tools and put them anywhere and succeed. So from that standpoint, it's definitely saved me. I owe a lot to the game. It's been so good to me. So it's only right that I give that back.
Well, everybody, I have had the best time. I don't know about y'all, and I'm still looking over this stuff. Like, did I get everything? Because I don't think I did. But I want to say to everyone just the numbers. So let's go. 13 seasons in the WNBA, two championship rings with the LA Sparks. She went to the WNBA All Stars 3 years in a row. She represented the U.S. national team and won gold medal, might I add. She's been doing it consistently. And to go from somewhere else and pivot in life and still win at everything she put her hands to. This is why I said that she's an accomplished person on the court as well as off the court. It was instilled on her from her dad, the tenacity to be determined to do something, and whatever I start, I'm gonna finish, and not only finish but knock it out the park. This is what she's about. That's what she's been doing. That's what her name stands for. And I said that. So again, I was so excited to be able to talk with you, to have this conversation, to be a part of history, that I got to talk to someone who I deemed as a great WNBA player. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. I watched you.
Thank you.
I was never going to be a shooting guard or a point guard, but I watched you.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
so again, I want to thank my brother, Main Event, for telling me to say, "Hey, I know her, and she'll do it." I'm like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, she's gonna do it. She will do it." And I'm like, "Okay." So today has been great for me. Like I said, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna mess up my makeup. That took me 15 minutes to do. I'm not gonna do it. But I do have some announcements. like I always do. So in October of last year, I was able to publish my first single book called The Blueprints God's Design. It is on Amazon. Basically, God told me to sit down and restart. I was going in the wrong direction, getting frustrated, doing all of this, and He said, "You cut me out. So
Mm,
why do you not understand that you're lost?" So
mm,
He set me down and said, "You know what? You need to go back to the beginning. And
mm-hmm.
once you understand the importance of a blueprint, um, you can't get lost if you follow the design." So again, that's that.
Beautiful.
If you want to continue to have the lights on here, yes, these lights. Um, my Cash App is $ Sunshine Camila. That's how you spell my name for real. Kamilah. I only change it on Facebook so y'all can pronounce my name correctly. And it still don't work. How about that? Ain't that
I know the I know the feeling.
she? So my girl Alita Cotton does a wonderful ginger or turmeric or both drink, and when I tell you, I get them every week. She's on Facebook at AYECEE. She even got her own tea line. Like you call the phone and like, okay, what do you want today? You want the ginger or you want the turmeric? Or you want both? So again, um, reach out to her. You will not be disappointed. And last but not least, on April 6th through the 8th, I will be at the Fisher Theater in Detroit in the infamous Perilous Times play. I will be dancing, singing, and acting in this production. Um, you can get tickets now at BroadwayInDetroit.com. We are literally 30 days out before I be on stage. Again, I am so excited. I am truly blessed tonight to have this wonderful woman on tonight. So, Tamecka, before we let you go, do you have anything that you want to say?
I just want to thank you for having me on your show. I had an amazing time. Thank you for allowing me to have a few minutes with you. And I wish you the best of luck in your journey moving forward.
Thank you so much. Again, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're literally one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. It has been proven over and over again since I started this almost 3 years ago. Um, AC's T is 313-380-0321. That number again is 313-380-0321. Again, thank you, Tamecka. After this is over, I will send you the show and you can do whatever you want with it. You can chop it up, you can do all of that wonderful things, and I can go to bed in peace tonight.
Thank you, Sunshine. I appreciate you.
You welcome. Have a good night.
You as well.
Peace.
Bye bye.